Welcome back, gamers, to the fourth game group. I'm Joshua Malthusian.
I'm Giovanni from the Virtual Boy Gamer Show.
And today we will review Killer Instinct Gold for Nintendo 64, the last installment in the Killer Instinct franchise. So, does this final fight end on a high note, or does it deserve a 15-year silence? Let's find out. Killer Instinct Gold follows the plotline from the original Killer Instinct. When Orchid killed Idol, it set off a time warp that somehow sent fighters back in time 2,000 years in the past. As the time warp went off, it released Gargos, the Demon Lord. Some of the fighters were taken back to the past, and now the fight for the right to fight Gargos in battle. The fate of the future lies on who comes out on top. The story is just a reason to fight each other, and it isn't talking about it. Killer Instinct Gold is a 2D fighting game where, instead of traditional fighting style, you have 2 health bars to defeat your enemy. The best way to beat them is to use combos and fatalities. When the enemy is beaten, you move up the ladder and repeat. When you reach the top, you fight the toughest opponent, Tusk. If you beat him on the hardest setting, you go on to the Master level, and once you beat the Master level, you'll get an alternate ending. There are 7 modes to play on. There's traditional arcade, team elimination, training, and focus training, as well as practice. Other than, the standard arcade mode, team mode involves you picking a set number of fighters and the CPU will choose theirs. Then take on each other one by one. The winner is whoever has defeated the entire team. Team elimination plays the same, but it goes on forever. It goes on. Every time I kill someone, the next person on their team appears, and it doesn't stop. Maybe I'm missing something. Next is practice, which is what you expect it to be. Last is training and focus training, where you can practice your moves. However, it's difficult considering that most of the moves require precise direction, and the control is sensitive. That's a problem I have to get into later. But overall, the fighting is a lot of fun, especially when you're taking on friends. It becomes competitive. But as for the fun fighting, there are more negatives. The first is difficulty. This is a really tough game, as the opponents are not very hard at first, but by the time you reach the 4th or 5th level, the game will show no mercy and will kill you every time. Enemies will block and counter with relative ease, as well as perform major combos on you that would be okay if you knew the character combos, but if you bought it cartridge only, you'll have to learn it on your own, or you'll have to learn the moves in training, but considering the control is sensitive and complex, it's hard to pull off. Another minor convenience is that once you've started the fight, and you want to restart because, say you're going to lose, or you choose the wrong character, you cannot exit without losing your position on ladder. So if you quit, you have to go back. Surprised I doesn't say anything like quake and insulting. So overall, the fighting is intense, but the difficulty begs you to use the manual.
Overall, I thought this was a very difficult game, but an enjoyable game nonetheless. It was a very fun fighting game for the Nintendo 64.
The graphics are not up to standard with Nintendo 64's capabilities. The cause of this is that a lot of the graphics had to be cut down due to the memory of an N64 cartridge. If only they knew what lied ahead. The only 3D element is to swoop up the level. A lot of the computer animation from the arcade is toned down a lot, and the blood effects are rather cheesy. Overall, the graphics are way below average for an N64 game.
I felt that the graphics were mediocre, none of the animations were different, and the backgrounds were just ugly.
The music is some of Rare's finest. KI always gets a CD to go with it. The music is well composed and fits the intensity of the game. And the announcer from all KI games has returned and is easily one of the best ever, giving us the best sound bites in any fighting game.
Ultimate Combo.
Sound effects, there are nothing special. Characters just yell and grunt, and there's not much of a difference between this hit or that hit. Overall, the music is gold, the announcer is timeless, and the sound effects are generic.
The music was terrific, spot on, and there was no problem with the sound effects whatsoever.
In conclusion, Killer Instinct Gold is a good fighting game, but it's not anywhere close to the original, or the original Super NES game, and that's for 3 reasons. 1, the graphics. Number 2, sensitive control. And number 3, difficult, merciless gameplay.
Overall, the game is pretty good, but it could have used some polishing and some tweaks.
And that ends us for us gamers. For the Virtual Boy Gamer, we'll see you next time.